It's funny because I talk about that in the show about how my voice was so high.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I tweeted this. I said I would want to do a segment with George because his voice is so smooth and mine is just like, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
What's going on, world? Brand new episode of Open the Box there on your screen. I'm your host, George Kill. I'm with Norm Dawson in San Antonio, the creator and director of all the shoes. Norm, I'm gonna just call you the ambassador of shoes when it comes to San Antonio. Shout out to my guy, JD, Danklips. You guys just run San Antonio with shoes, man. Wow. How you doing?
I'm good, I'm good. Thank you for that. That's, wow, thank you so much.
Now, we're here today to talk about a love letter to sneakers.
Yeah.
Tell me what that is.
So all these shoes, A Love Letter to Sneakers, is my one-man show that I've been working on for about 3 years. I had this idea of doing something like a spoken word. My background is in theater. I've always loved theater. That's what I went to school for. I wanted to incorporate that with sneakers. I would describe it a combination between what you would see John Leguizamo doing, what with Ghetto Clown and what he does, and a TED Talk. So it's a story about me growing up and my relationship with sneakers as I went through these awkward years and how it relates to the shoes that I wore at certain times in my life.
What made you want to do a spoken word about shoes?
There's not a lot of people my age, 40 plus, that are talking about these things like depression or self-doubt, being comfortable in your skin, things like that. So I wanted to present that in a way that I was comfortable doing. It takes you from when I first started realizing the power of a cool pair of shoes and how I would imagine myself being cool. These images of what I had in my head got me through those awkward times. And I think it's very relatable, even if you're not into sneakers. We've all had those moments of, not knowing who we are.
What actually got you into sneakers? For you guys that don't know, Norm is like one of the biggest Puma collectors out there. Very different collection. So the Marvin Bagleys and all of the people that just signed, if you're just getting into Pumas, this guy has been into Pumas.
Back when I first saw my first pair of Pumas, when I saw Beat Street, to me, being in Texas and seeing New York for the first time in breakdancing, that was my idea of cool from the beginning, and it's never changed. Just the way that the silhouette looked, the suede and the Clyde. So that was just the brand that I really connected with, and I kept those shoes. That I still have the same pairs from the 90s. I talk about it in the show. I show them.
What is your end goal for the Love Letter? So
I've performed it as a work in progress for schools, because I think it's very important to connect with school-age kids that can relate to the story. I want to incorporate it with other sneaker shows, perhaps like as a precursor to their show. But I want to be able to take it to different cities, New York, LA, Chicago, Miami, wherever big markets are, and just kind of share the story. So my name is Norm, and for a lack of a better word, I'm a sneakerhead. Sneakers have always been kind of a part of my life ever since I can remember, actually. Growing up, though, I wasn't the confident man that you see before you. I was awkward. I was shorter than everybody else. My voice was high, like it still is, and it cracks. And I had this curly red hair, so I stuck out like a sore thumb. On top of that, my family was poor. We didn't have a lot of money. So you can imagine how the chips were stacked against me. About fourth grade, though, I remember the first time I noticed the power of a cool pair of sneakers. My grandmother went to Korea, and she brought all the grandkids back a pair of shoes, and those shoes were kangaroos. Now, for those of you that are young and you don't remember kangaroos had like zippers on the side where you could open it up, and we put our lunch money and kind of stick out and show that you had $1 in there. So I had a pair, and I felt cool. And I remember one particular day, I wasn't feeling as awkward as I usually was. And I was sitting in class. Everything was cool. Had a cute little girl next to me. And I put my feet on the desk. And I sneezed. And when I sneezed, I farted. Like, loud. And not only did my class hear this, there was 3 other classes in the same area that heard it. So the whole 4th grade heard this explosion. And I wanted to crawl in the desk and never come out. So luckily for me, my parents moved a lot. We moved 10 times in 11 years. My parents couldn't afford the rent anymore, so we move out, or we'd get evicted, or my dad just on a whim decided that we needed to move. Thankfully, this time I moved to a new school. So I wasn't the kid that just farted in class. I wasn't the fart kid. I was just the new kid. Oh. Now, this was 1984. That year, I discovered something that changed my life. I discovered hip hop. The first time I heard hip hop, it changed everything. And I remember I saw Beat Street, the movie Beat Street, and there were these kids, and they were cool. They had these tracksuits, and they had these hats, right? But most importantly, they had these shoes. They wore these suede shoes. All suede, with the fat laces. And when I saw these Pumas, I knew that this was the epitome of cool for me. Middle school was a nightmare. But I discovered something else. I discovered skateboarding. Now, skateboarding and these skateboarders were kind of like me. They were awkward, but they didn't care what people thought. They didn't care. They wore what they wanted, and they had this attitude. Now, the same year that happened, Michael Jordan came out with his first shoe, the Air Jordan 1. Everybody wanted to be like Mike and wear these shoes. I didn't want to be like Mike and wear these shoes. See, skateboarders wore these shoes too. So I wanted to be like Mike McGill or Tony Hawk, the Bones Brigade. But there was no way in hell my mom was going to spend these were $70 back then. Try doing that now. There was no way in hell my mom was going to buy me a $70 shoe. But I was going to try. Hey, Mom, there's these shoes, and the Air Jordans, and I want a pair. And people in hell want ice water too. It was worth a shot. But one day, I come home from school, and my mom says, "Baby, I bought those shoes that you wanted." What? So she hands me the box, and it's not the Nike box. It doesn't look like the Nike box. And I open it up, and it doesn't look like the Nike. This shoe is not this shoe, okay? This shoe, cool. This shoe, Bobos. The Payless Special. And there was no way in hell I was going to wear these shoes to school. I can imagine in my head the burns I would receive if I walked into school wearing these shoes. But I couldn't let my mom know that. So I had to act grateful. Thanks, Mom. These are awesome. I love them. Oh, thanks. You got the shoes I wanted. I was not going to wear these. So that night, I go in my room, and I'm thinking, I'm not wearing those. How can I get out of wearing these shoes? We had this dog that shit everywhere. So I got some of that dog poop, and I put it in the shoe. And that next morning, I put on the performance of a lifetime. I woke up. Mom, the dog pooped in my shoe. I can't wear these new shoes. Man. And she bought it. At least I think she did. And I can promise you, my foot never stepped in these shoes. Not after having shit in them. So, aside from Michael Jordan's shoes, skateboarders also wore Chucks. The same Chucks we wear today. And my mom was cool with this too, right? Because they were cheap. These were $19. And we would wear the hell out of them until we had to duct tape them and duct tape the sole, the holes in them. So my mom was cool with that. And the colors, black and red. Everybody had black and the red and the blue. There was one kid that was older than me. He was a few grades ahead of me. Clay Wirtz, one of the cool skaters with the flapper. He had gray. He had gray Converse. So that year for Christmas, all I wanted was a pair of gray Converse like Clay Wirtz. I would have been the only person in my class with gray Converse. So I asked my mother, for Christmas this year, Mom, I just want gray Converse. Okay, well, put it on your Christmas list and we'll see if Santa brings you. I was in goddamn middle school. So that morning, Christmas morning, I wake up and I see the box. I knew what was in this. And I open it up, and she got me the yellowest pair of Converse that she could find. So I open up the box, and she's watching us open the presents, right? What's wrong, honey? You like your shoes? Yeah, Mom. Yeah, it's awesome. Kind of wanted gray. Well, maybe the dog will shit in those shoes too. She got me. During those awkward years, I realized something, that when I'm on stage and I'm pretending to be somebody else, I'm not this. I'm not this person. I'm whoever I'm playing. So for a brief moment, I don't have to worry about anybody judging me or thinking or making fun of me. I'm somebody else. And I loved it. And I got a girlfriend. She was the drama teacher's daughter. So we were kind of like the Jay-Z and the Beyonce of Kitty Hawk Junior High. We were royalty. And I remember one day I came home from school and my friends were talking about we were going to wear our red button-up shirts, our paisley shirts. It was the 80s, guys. We wore paisleys. So that's what we were going to wear. And I know I had a shirt. So I come home and I open up the closet and there's a laundry basket and I'm looking for my paisley shirt. Right? And I can't find it. And I'm looking, and my mom comes in and she's yelling something, you don't clean up, you need to clean up, God damn it, this room, blah, blah, blah. And I'm looking for my shirt, and she's just saying stuff, and I can't, all I hear is her, and I'm looking for my shirt, and she's, what is wrong with you? I say, I just want to find my shirt. She goes, what in the hell is wrong with you? And out of nowhere, I say, I don't want to live. Where did that come from? Music and hip hop carried me away every time. And it still does today. A couple weeks later, my little cute girlfriend, my Beyonce, decided she didn't want to be my Beyonce. So we broke up. And I remember walking in the room in the house, and my mom knew immediately. She was sitting on the couch, she looked right at me, and she said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Stacy broke up with me." And she said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." So I went in my room, and I sat on the edge of my waterbed. It was the 80s. We all had waterbeds, right? I think we stole one from the trailer house that we were living in before. And I'm sitting there on the edge of my waterbed, and I'm sad. I'm mad. I start to feel mad. And those feelings that I pushed down started bubbling up. And they kept coming. And I'm sad because I don't like who I see in the mirror. I'm mad because I'm alone. I'm sad. I'm mad because I couldn't find that fucking shirt. And I'm mad. And I had this picture of Madonna next to my, it was the 80s. I had this picture of Madonna next to my nightstand. And I picked it up and I took the picture out and I had the picture frame in my hand and all of a sudden, I busted it over my head. I put the picture frame down and I remember thinking, there's no blood. And then I did this and there was blood. There was a lot of blood. And I remember looking down and thinking, I just ruined my shoes. It didn't hurt. It was a release, but it didn't hurt. And all I could think about was my shoes that I got blood all over. So high school was okay. I had my theater, I had my chucks, I had my skateboard. There was a resurgence of skateboarding. And things that were cool before were starting to become cool again, like skateboarding and Pumas. And that particular year, the Beastie Boys came back and they were cool again. And I had money. So you know what I did? I had a girlfriend and I made her, on my birthday, I made her take me to the Mecca of Cool, Windsor Park Mall. And I went up that same escalator that I went up years ago to the same Foot Locker. I'm pretty sure it was the same guy that helped me out before. And I walked in. He goes, "What's up, little man?" Because I was still short. And I said, "Give me that color, and that color in a size 8.5. And that day I walked out with a burgundy pair, a green pair, and a purple pair. And these are the same shoes I bought that day. I can still wear them. I still wear them. I skated in them. And they're still cool.